I was a sex slave for 8 years of my most younger years, which I wasted on someone. Well, let me start at the beginning. When I was younger, I always was taught to be very sweet and gentle, to be very kind, and to not stand up for myself. Because I was raised to be a good girl. So then of course I met a person who absolutely took advantage of that. Well, you might think, how is this possible? How were you a sex slave? And how does this happen in the first place? Well, let me tell you. It is called grooming. When you are young, you automatically do what grown-ups tell you. That's what I did. But before you know, I met a person who took advantage of that. So what happened next is that he was the one who made me believe and changed, molded my mind into mush, where my mind was like a robot for the wishes of the person who groomed, abused and used every little thing of my existence. There are no words to describe what I felt for so long. It was like a prison, and he was the guard. He had the keys. He could do whatever he wanted. That's what happened. So then, once I was a bit older, I got to realize what was happening to me and what was going on, so I learned to stand up for myself. But this is a warning for everyone who thinks that this might not happen to you, or you might be the one on the giving end of this situation. Because young ones are very impressionable and vulnerable. Happen to be that many people take advantage of that situation, and they know that they have a power. Some people crave that power over someone. Well, if you're on the receiving end, it might not be so fun. It wasn't fun for me. But what happens to your mind is like you get in a trance, a hypnotic state, where your mind becomes so accustomed to what is going on that you even begin to like it and enjoy it. And you begin to think that this is what you have always wanted, to be a slave for someone else's fantasy. But as time went on and things began to spiral out of control, and the abuse began to take on more severe and extreme forms, with all different types of things and attributes and situations and humiliations, and I don't even know, because every time I think about it, my mind becomes like so crazy again, all over again. I see this face. When I see the face, I picture it to be the face of a monster who was always there. Wherever I was, he was there. there was no time for me to just think about what have I gotten myself into. It is like a creeping, crawling, monstrous creature. That's how I envisioned it in my mind. As he began to become more powerful, with all his wishes and demands and touchings, I cannot reminisce. My mind is like a blur. I get these images of being, of lying in a chair, of lying in bed, and he's sitting in a chair, and I cannot move. I'm like stuck. And then I wake up. And when I wake up, it's all over. What was going on? What happened to me? I don't know. I don't remember. And then my mind created a scene and thought that this is what I've always wanted. This video counts as a warning for everyone who thinks that this cannot happen to you or to your family. Always be watchful and careful of your mind and guard it to what tries to enter it. What monster is lurking behind the shadows of your own darkness and of other people's fantasies. And once they get to learn that there are people who are very, very vulnerable and are just there for the taking, I might tell you that before you allow anyone into your house, you might think and wonder, is this something that I would allow to happen? I assure you, the better thing to do is to just keep your doors locked. So how to get out of this situation? I am stuck. I am someone else's toy. That's what I realized. That's when I thought something must be done. But why do I seem to like it so much? How is this even real? I started to think maybe my mind is playing tricks on me. Later I found out that it's called dissociation. So you dissociate from the situation. And for your mind to cope with it, you begin to think of all types of scenarios in which there is absolutely no problem. That's what I found out. Well, as time went on, I began to let him know that I'm in control, and they will become my toy for whatever my fantasy wants, which is freedom from this torturous experience. And it is like, for the outside, it is like there is absolutely nothing going on. There is no any type of situation that is in any way threatening, in any way abusive. It is like she wants to be there. You see, your mind is a very powerful tool. What I have found out, it will adjust to any type of situation. People who are working in a war zone, their mind adjusts to the situation, and they will not be faced with any type of emotion when they pull the trigger. That all comes later when the threat is done. Same goes with any type of abusive situation. So being used and abused for any type of, and whenever, wherever, right? It's like there is nowhere to go. You cannot hide. You cannot run. You cannot go anywhere, tell anyone, because the mind creates a prison for you to live in until you are strong enough to face your fear. It is the shadow that is lurking inside everyone who is a bit, well, let's say, a bit crazy in his own mind and in his own way. We all have a side of us we need to face. So, until my mind started to release the shackles of this prison I made for myself, I needed to face the problem at the core. What is going on? Why am I feeling so lonely? And why am I crying so much about this when I seem to enjoy everything that is happening to me every single day? I am being used for any type of crazy, well, let me tell you, the details are not for this type of video, don't you know? I cannot tell you in graphic detail what has happened to me, and I will not do that, because I will not re-traumatize myself over and over again. Whenever you hear the door, I lie in my bed. When you hear the door, you know it's time. Wow, that's so bad thinking about it. Whenever I think about it, it makes me get goosebumps all over again. But I will not be weak again ever. I am stronger and I can face it. I have to face him for what he has done and stand up and become the greatest version of myself to warn every single person who wants to listen to my story to be aware, and some things need to stay locked within that door of your mind which you don't want to enter. So when I faced my fears finally, and I said to myself, I know what happened. I know how the situation began. I know how it started. And I know how it will end. So slowly but surely what I did was made him my bitch. That's right. there was no way that I would allow anything like that happen again, ever. I became the thing I wanted to be in the first place. I was free finally, and I will never look back. And after that, that's when I began to like it myself. Shockingly, the abused became the abuser. Let me tell you, we all have our own battles to fight in life, but I will not allow myself to be in this position or anyone else. I will not allow myself to become such a vile person that not even myself want to face. But what I will do is warn everyone to not talk to strangers. You don't have to. We are not obliged or obligated to open the door when someone knocks, to tell them our name when someone asks. We can just be cruel just like they are cruel to us, and just slam the door shut. I am in no way pretending to be perfect, but I will protect the weak and the vulnerable. I will forever do that.